Hello, my name is Christine Berger and I'm the Vice President of Governmental Relations for the Minnesota Association of Realtors. My colleague Heather Mavenkamp and myself have been busy up at the Capitol for the past 5 months at the 2009 legislative session. On May 18th it came to a close, and what a close it was. The governor came out the last week of session and told the legislators that he would not be approving any tax increases and that he would use his allotment authority and his line item veto authority to bring the budget deficit into balance. That was the charge of the legislature this year, to balance the $4.6 billion budget deficit. But the governor said he will not call them back into a special session and he will balance the budget himself. And so we are done with session. Let me just tell you a little bit how things turned out. As I mentioned, balancing the budget deficit was the #1 charge, and both the House and Senate DFL came up with tax bills that would have raised revenues to balance the budget deficit. Let me just tell you about some of those provisions that they included in their tax bills. The House tax bill included an increase the House tax bill was going to eliminate the mortgage interest deduction and replace it with a much smaller credit. They were going to eliminate the property tax deduction and not replace it with anything. And they were going to eliminate the relative homestead classification. They also were going to increase fourth-tier income taxes and get rid of several other credits, deductions, and subtractions. It also cut aids to local governments and did many other functions, which you will be able to read about in our legislative update. Beyond the tax issues, we also worked on some real estate and land use topics. One was a contract for deed transactions. Legal Aid Society came forward with a proposal this year to modify and to greatly modify the contract for deed transaction and the forms. They wanted to add several pages of new disclosures in the statutes that sellers have to provide to buyers. And it would have also added a 10-day rescission period, so you couldn't transfer the property until they received the disclosures 10 days previously. We worked on that with the advocates, and the bill did not pass. I'm happy to report no modifications to contract for deed. The only provision that we agreed to is that if you're doing a contract for deed, that the seller has to provide a copy of the contract to the buyer. Seems logical, and the seller has to pay any delinquent taxes. So that is the only change for contract for deed transactions after a very serious proposal. We also worked on lender mediation this year. Last year there was a deferment bill that was vetoed by the governor that would defer mediations by a whole year. This year advocates came forward with a desire to have mandatory mediation between the homeowner and the lender, hoping that some people would be able to stay in their homes. The initial proposal included an increase in the recording fees, and we were able to eliminate that from the bill, in both the House and the Senate versions, and they came up with a new funding source. But in the end, the governor ended up vetoing the bill, and so we will not be having a homestead lender mediation. We also worked on contiguous non-conforming lots. Many local governments were prohibiting people from selling their properties if they had contiguous, meaning side by side, non-conforming, meaning not standard size, lots, and they were prohibiting the sale. And we hammered out a compromise with the Department of Natural Resources, counties, and cities, and we were able to now allow lots that are contiguous and non-conforming to be sold off and split. We also worked on an e-licensing provision. The Office of Enterprise Technology, along with some other agencies, were proposing to create a new $10 or then later reduced $5 e-licensing surcharge on all licensees of the state. So not just realtors, but all licensees of the state. And we reminded them that you as realtors are already paying $40 for technology. And so we managed to get ourselves exempted from this new technology fee, and therefore Department of Commerce will be taking money from the $40 you currently pay, and we'll be using that money for the new technology platform. So good news there, no new surcharge for e-licensing technology. And finally, a very significant bill passed. So as you know, a lot's been going on in Congress with federal stimulus dollars, and a lot of money will be coming to the state of Minnesota to help people with weatherization of windows and etc. Money to make their home more energy efficient, and we'll be getting information to you in the legislative update about how you can inform your clients about these tax credits or rebates and so forth that they can improve their home with. So make sure to catch our legislative update coming out to you this July. Thank you very much.